Hey mathematicians, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up some two-step equations, and we're going to start with, I'm going to do the first couple for you, and you just need to worry about setting them up, and tomorrow in our live meeting I'm going to look at how you did on those and give you some feedback before you actually solve them. So for today you're just setting them up, and I'm going to go ahead and do the first couple for you. So for starters, I always start off by looking at what the question is asking me, and I use that as a reference for, what the variable is. So number one, how many students are in her class? Keyword is students there. So that is going to be my x. That's going to be my variable. And I set up a structure where I look at like the start is kind of what I call it. Ooh, that was really ugly. Sorry, my stylus is doing goofy stuff right now. So I'm going to look at where the situation starts, what changes, and then where it ends. Okay, and I think that'll make sense for you in a second to help me figure out how to set up the equation. So my 166 pieces of gum, playing basketball at a county fair. At school, she gave 2 to every student in her class. So the start of the problem is that she won those 66 pieces of gum. And after that, it says that she went to school and gave 2 to every student in her math class. So that means she started with 66, and let's think about what happens when she gives away gum to the kids in her class. It decreases, right? So she started with 66, and if she's giving 2 pieces to every kid in her class, that means it's going to be subtraction. So we started with 66. The change is that it's going to be going down, like however much she has is going to be decreasing. And she gave 2 to every student in her class. Well, if she gave 2 to every student in her class, and we know that we're using X to represent the number of students, she started with 66, and we're going to take away 2 per every student. And then, so equals, so she started out with 66, we took away 2 per student, and where exactly does this situation end up? She has 10 remaining. So she started with 66, we took away 2 per kid in her class, which means that she has 10 left over. So this equation, if we translate it into math symbols, is going to be 66 minus 2x is equal to 10. Okay, what I would love for you to do is pause the video for a minute and try to set up number 2, and then restart the video when you are ready after you've taken a shot at trying to set it up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set up number 2 for you. I'm assuming you've paused the video, you tried to work it yourself, and now you're here to check. So where did this situation start? Well, Mike won 46 lollipops playing basketball. That was his start. And then it says later, that's how I know that's what came next, he gave 2 to each of his friends. So if he's giving away 2, that's going to be subtraction. We see that how many friends does he have? That's our unknown. So that's going to be X. And he gave 2 to each of his friends. So that means he started out with 46. So we're going to take away 2 per friend. And finally, where does it end? He only has 2 remaining. So that is going to be equal to 2. Okay, you guys should see on the class kick, you do not need to do number 4. Number 3 can be a little bit tricky, so that's the last one I'm going to work on the example video, and then I'm going to ask you to at least attempt to set up the others, and then I'll give you feedback tomorrow when we have our live class. So looks like the first thing that happened is the cooking club made some pies to sell at a basketball game to raise money for new math books. And the question is, how many pies did the club make? So the start, kind of interestingly, is actually what we don't know, because it says the cooking club made some pies to sell. And it's asking how many pies did the club make. So our starting point is actually going to be X, because the cooking club made some pies. We just don't know how many they made. Then let's look at the change. The cafeteria contributed 2 pies to the sale. So that means the cooking club made however many they made at first, plus the cafeteria gave them 2. Now this is the part that's a little bit tricky for people, because there's a little something else that happened there in between. There's kind of like a next step here in like what exactly happened. Each pie was cut into 6 pieces and sold. So that means that however many the cooking club made, we need to multiply that by 6, because each pie was cut into 6 pieces. So to figure out how many pieces that would actually be, we would take the number of pies they made and multiply it by 6. But they also cut those 2 pies into 6 pieces too, right? So that's actually going to be 2 times 6. And finally, the last piece is there were 72 pieces to sell. So that's going to be where we ended up with 72 pieces. So you've got the original ones that the cooking club made up. They were cut into 6 pieces. That's why we had to turn it into 6 times X. The cafeteria made their own 2. So the final equation will be 6X plus 12. And all of those pieces equal 72. So remember what I said. All I need you to do, you don't have to actually solve these equations. Please just set them up. There's not a self-check feature on this one, because there's a lot of different ways you could write some of these and still get the right answer. So just get them set up for your assignment. You're getting credit as long as you do that. And in live class, we're going to actually look at these tomorrow before we solve them.